welcome guys. This is the Game Week 29 Preview. We're gonna maybe talk about a little review as well. But first, let's talk about the viewers' questions. I can see we have about 3 questions here, or 4. First one is from Vibud. He wonders which Liverpool players are ideal to have. So I'll start this off. Yogi, saw your smile there. Yogi made a brilliant choice to swap out Salah for Mane. I think that was a great choice. I was like, yeah, that's a good one. I hope you get to enjoy it. I always like to see like the brave stuff pay off. And Liverpool players, I mean, I think it's good to ditch Salah for that reason, but yeah, it's kind of scary because you have to trust Mane to deliver. If he doesn't, then might not pay off. But I think it's an interesting move, and well, obviously the defenders are where the value is at with Liverpool, and when it comes to them, I feel like Alexander-Arnold is the best value. He costs 1 million less, or even more, 1.5 million less, and he produces the same results. So I would go, if I had to choose 3 players, I would go him and either one of Robertson or Van Dijk. Probably Robertson. He's the 4th highest scorer now in all of FPL. And then Mane looks good to me. Do you have any other 3, Mitch?
No, I completely agree with you. I think Robertson might be a bit expensive to fit in if you're looking to get him in now, because I think he's close to 7 mil. But if you want to still have 3 Liverpool players and both your defence is full, then Alisson's always a nice shot as well. If you want a premium keeper, that's all I really have to add to that. But yeah, I agree with you about Mane, and fantastic pick by Yogi, and then Alexander-Arnold, and then Robertson or Van Dijk.
Yeah, Yogi, do you agree with my 3 there?
Yeah. Probably would say Robertson, Van Dijk, in my opinion, but yeah, that's a lot of money again. But
yeah, if money isn't a concern, I agree.
Yeah, and it probably will not be as much concern for people now going into at least putting up a team for the blank game week, because there's a lot of cheapies being brought in by a lot of people, so you might be able to fit 2 premium Liverpool defenders, and that might be better than premium attackers for all we know. Because they're playing pretty easy games and might as well be secure 12 points for all we know from 2 players, so 24 points easily coming in.
Or even potentially sacrificing, if you have 2 premium strikers, for example, maybe sacrificing one of them for someone in the 7 mil range to get in the Liverpool asset in defence, if that's something that's what you want to do as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, next question. This made me laugh, but FPL Penguin asks, should we bring in Lukaku? Yogi, I'll let you start.
My opinion on Lukaku is he's horrible. He has the first touch of, I don't know, like I've said it to you guys before, like it looks like he does amazing first touch passes, but unfortunately he's just trying to stop the ball. And like looking yesterday, he missed a clear sitter behind the keeper. It just flew out of the stadium. It looked like he was trying to play baseball or something.
It's not a game of football if Lukaku hasn't missed an open sitter, right?
No, exactly. So yeah, he doesn't defend his prize at all, and Rashford is Ole Gunnar's preferred striker.
He's knocking on the door. He's coming back, right?
Yeah, he was sitting on the bench. So that's how close it was.
2 goals aren't enough for Lukaku suddenly. No. I mean, he will play if there's an injury crisis, but you can't rely on that for FPL. No, it's not a long-term good thing.
Not at all.
Particularly as he's still sitting at the 10 mil mark. I mean, that's expensive for the number of games he played and the amount of returns he's got. Like my tiny little add to the answer to the question would be a straight no. I agree with Yogi, but as somebody that likes to appreciate everyone as a footballer, I wish that he was performing the way that everyone expects him to perform, because otherwise he would be a fantastic FPL asset like he was for Everton a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the moment, yeah, definitely hard.
But what did he cost back then? I didn't play FPL then, but I can't imagine him costing more than 9.
No, I remember the first that season at Everton where he scored I think 24 or 25 goals that season. I bought him at the beginning of the season. I had him the whole season, and he was 8.5 mil.
Yeah, that's what I would have guessed. Okay,
Yeah.
but FPL Penguin also wants to know about what our thoughts about Vardy and King, and I guess we'll talk about King just being an option from game week 30 and onwards, really, when his fixtures turn, and he's obviously, as we've also discussed, great at home but not great away. So that's good because you can bench him when he plays away, maybe. Concerning Vardy, I really don't have a clear opinion because they're coming with a new manager.
Yeah.
I have no idea how they're gonna play. I have no idea how Vardy's gonna fit in, if he's gonna improve. Maybe one thing I just want to say about Vardy is he doesn't seem to rack up bonus points. He's okay in that department, but I don't know. Nothing special about him except for a good conversion, really. He doesn't need a lot of opportunities. So, anything else to add?
I think regarding Bournemouth, the likes of Brooks being back on the bench might be really positive for King, because all of a sudden you got this little genius running behind him.
He's a fantastic player.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
And Vardy, well, Rodgers has done amazing things to youngsters. So for him to be able to shape up Maddison and even Tielemans, I keep preaching about Tielemans because I know what he's capable of. So if Rodgers get those, or the younglings on Leicester to work together, I think Vardy is going to benefit from it. And they have easy fixtures, and he looks like he's slowly moving into form.
Yeah,
I would say.
I think
He usually is a late season form guy.
Yeah,
Because it's closing into a transfer window and he want to move somewhere else.
Yeah, one thing I just figured this out by myself last couple of week or something, about the fatigue of players coming in this time of period, because we thought about the Christmas break being that kind of period, but I didn't see a significant dip in form among the best players in that period. But I see it now, like we see with Salah, and suddenly Mane thrives because I think a lot of teams are really fatigued now, and a guy like Mane, who is a beast. Also, another one is Aguero, who has thrived, and I think that's because he has rested, because he's been injured.
Yeah.
So
he always does that. He gets himself tactically injured every single season around January, and then comes back firing over Easter, and then gets injured again at the end of the season.
Exactly.
He likes to take an early break to go away with the family, during the summer.
Usually, there was some speculation before that he was getting cards so he could have a suspension during the Christmas break. And he can have a little vacation, go back to Argentina.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah.
My final little point for that question as well. We've already talked about King, but for me it's more talking about Vardy. Like you guys have both said, the new manager bounce turns me on. The fixtures turn me on, but his price still turns me off a little bit. I don't think that he's justified a price point of 8.8 mil this season. I think he's actually even close to going back up to 8.9, because I think people have obviously been looking at the fixtures, looking at Rodgers' appointment, and looking at the fact that he scored a couple of goals in the past 2 game weeks. But I want to see some more explosivity from him, like a brace, and as Oscar said, some more inclination to get some bonus points as well for that price tag. So for me, I place him as like a sit and wait at the moment.
Yeah, what I think you need to get Vardy in now or not at all. It's like that for me.
Yeah.
Because I can't trust him. When I get him in, he's gonna fail. That's probably like so it's gonna be like chasing points. I know that, but right now I think it's quite a good time. It's just not the right move for my team. But if you're considering him, yeah, I think that's a good idea. I don't think like also I think Higuain is exciting for that price. So it's not a clear cut choice, but he's certainly interesting. Next viewer's question is from FPL Lad. He's wondering Almiron or Madison. For me, Madison isn't an FPL player. He's a great player. I saw some stat of him creating the most chances or something, but
Yeah.
obviously Leicester can't convert on them anyway, and he's often the guy who passes the assister. And also my point on Almiron, I've only seen 2 games. He looks great. He fits their style of play quite good. He's had like one good breakaway in both of these games, and one hit the post. So he fits the team good. I just think he's not. It's hard to say at this time, but he looks a little bit like Rashford did when he started off in United. He looks like a cool talent, but not like having the end product, not really finishing off the attacks as you want. But he's interesting, and he's cheaper than Maddison. So if you're considering Almiron, yeah, Almiron over Maddison. But I think as we were talking about Brooks, I think he's more interesting than Almiron, for example.
Fraser, if you're looking at Maddison as well, Fraser, for me as well, I agree that Maddison is great on the pitch, but doesn't seem to pull in yet what I would consider enough for an FPL asset. And also as well, I just pulled up Almiron on the FPL website. I kind of feel like, although Newcastle still have a lot of green after game week 33, you've kind of missed the easy home fixtures that they had. They've been and gone. They've got a home fixture against Everton, but Everton are I would say, a better team. And they're also very unreliable. They're also really sporadic and unreliable. They'll have a great game or they'll have a bad game. I can't see them getting much out of West Ham away or Bournemouth away. They're then playing Arsenal away. They've got 3 away games in their next 4. So if you are looking at Almiron, which I would suggest over Maddison, I would say not until 33. Not until game week 33 for me.
Good. Next question is a little bit more tricky. He also FPL Lad wonders what to do if you don't have a free hit chip. He says, I do, but lots of people don't. Okay, and it's not covered very much.
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think if I start it off, I think obviously it's very squad dependent. And it relies a lot upon what your goals are, whether you're at the moment with a good overall ranking and you're looking to keep it, or you're really just focusing on your mini leagues and where you are in your mini leagues. But I really think that in terms of the upcoming double game weeks and the blank game weeks, I feel like a free hit is probably better served in a double game week. And then what you do before you play that free hit, is you try and maneuver your transfers so that your team is as shaped up as it can be without taking too many minus points, so that you have sufficient. I mean, you're probably not going to get 11 players on the pitch unless you're lucky with the fixtures to get as close to a sufficient number towards 11 on the pitch for those blank game weeks. That would be my advice.
Yeah, I like the idea of free hitting in double game weeks. I think that's more upturn than free hitting in blank game weeks.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a free hit chip, you're just a little bit. I mean, you probably used it for a double game week already or something. So it's not much to say about guys who don't have it. I mean, just try to maneuver the game weeks like you would otherwise.
Yeah, I think you should at least maybe trying to aim to field like maybe 9 players or something. Just get some sort of balance of a double game week squad and a blank game week squad. So it's kind of tough, but I've heard this discussion before, but I can't remember like the points you should. But I think like trying to balance out a squad with maybe like 8-9 blank game week players and the rest being double game week players, and then trying to maneuver it as carefully as you can. And it's going to be a low scoring week because like people with free hit and that will do that in a double game week and have all their chips left. That's pretty much the 1% community of Fantasy Premier League on Twitter. It seems like everyone has it, but in reality, it's quite a little percentage of the overall FPL community. So you might rise in rank anyway, because there's a bunch of people who have just done stuff that's in front of us anyway. And yeah.
Good point. Next is from Vibe. No, that was all the questions actually for this. Cool. Let's dive into the fixtures. Oh wow, it's the London derby right off the bat.
Yeah.
Spurs Arsenal. Okay, so
Not even London, it's North London derby,
Yeah,
so it's
North-
even closer.
yeah, I mean, for me, Spurs aren't looking great. I think they've been lucky to be placed third this season. A lot of late goals and stuff, a lot of luck basically. But anything can happen in these derbies, and
Trouble is they're fatigued, I think.
yeah,
They're
It's
badly fatigued.
this is going to be the place where you see we should have bought more players, because they played against Chelsea now in a tough match. They're playing Arsenal now. Early Saturday, okay, but then again, they have to have in mind the Dortmund match on Tuesday already, and then again, they're going to play next weekend. So I think we're going to see some tired legs. But then again, I heard several reporters saying that Tottenham rarely lose 3 in a row. They rarely lose 2 in a row. So this is almost extraordinary. But they don't really look like how they did. Like, it stopped at Burnley. Then all of a sudden they're like a major dip in form. I don't know what
yeah,
happened.
they hit the wall against Burnley. It was like we could see it almost coming.
No.
Because they hadn't looked great up until then.
And Burnley, playing against Burnley is one of those matches that really takes the energy out of people, because you have to fight defenses that are tremendously disciplined. So you have to just struggle and struggle and struggle and struggle, so you get tired.
And it's not often. It's not often anymore in the Premier League that you actually play up against that you come up against teams that are in the traditional 4-4-2 formation, which Dyche loves to do with Burnley. He just plays a very traditional 4-4-2, and to my knowledge, anyway. And it's difficult to break down. Really difficult to break down.
Yeah.
I don't know about this game. I think for me, assets wise, I always think even though they're in a bad form, I do feel like Spurs would definitely obviously not want to lose a London derby at home to Arsenal. The fans are going to be behind them. It's going to be a really, really hyped game.
Home.
Home, yeah. Home, yeah. What happened to that new stadium, which is why there were no transfers? But the one thing that I do take solace in for Spurs is that Kane was out injured, and obviously it's not great to be out injured, but at the same time, he doesn't have the same fatigue that a lot of the other players do. And he did score against Burnley, although he didn't score against Chelsea. But Chelsea had to play like a brick wall because of their recent results.
No,
So
I really wanted to headbutt people then, so that was...
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I feel like Kane is definitely one to watch, and I don't know if he's going to play, but I really want to see Walker-Peters get some game time, because I think he's fresh legs, he's young. Pochettino has a habit of investing his time in the youth, and I think, and especially with the Trippier own goal, I'd like to see him come into the side. So they're the two for me from Spurs.
Yeah, for me, we discussed the fatigue, and the Arsenal was really good in this reverse fixture, if I recall correctly. So, might be that they were at home, but I think they fit our Spurs like bad this season, like the way Emery plays. And I don't know. I have Aubameyang and Son, and I'm hesitant to take out either of them because I think there's going to be goals in this game, because both defenses look quite poor.
Yep.
And then you have me not hesitant at all, because
Yeah,
I don't know, Arsenal doing what Arsenal did, winning 5-1 over Bournemouth, and Aubameyang just getting the one goal. that's sort of like a.
Did you see the Koscielny goal though?
No, because it wasn't broadcast here, so I just saw some highlight and I kind of forgot it.
You saw the highlight?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would have been an Auba goal if the ball wasn't over the line.
Yeah, but still, such a dominant victory. It's underwhelming from Aubameyang. One would expect he the one to get a brace, but it looked more like Ozil is. Hello, here I am again. Remember me.
Mkhitaryan as well has done the same thing. I mean, that's two +10 scores in 2 game weeks coming from the guy that just plays once in every 4 games. He's played 2 games and admittedly against easy opposition.
Yeah.
But I think you guys are both right that they're both looking leaky. I think Arsenal was probably looking leakier, although Spurs is more fatigued because obviously Arsenal had a smashing win, but then they conceded.
Yeah.
They still conceded the goal to Bournemouth, which really, if I was a harsh Emery, I would be saying, like, great win, but it's unacceptable that we conceded. We need the clean sheets because it boosts the morale of the defence.
Cool. I think we need to move on with the Bournemouth Manchester City. So this is interesting because Bournemouth are clearly better playing at home. Manchester City also clearly worse away this season. And the fixtures are coming like rapidly between one another. So I mean, it's brave to say that City aren't going to smash Bournemouth, but I think it can be a little. I won't say tricky because Bournemouth's defense are so and so, but I can see a 0-1 or something.
Yeah. I think I fancy Kevin De Bruyne this game. He hasn't done something in a while. And this just seems like the kind of game where City are going to be not as fatigued as Spurs because of the rotation, but they're going to be minutely fatigued. And Kevin De Bruyne will just pull out a wonder free kick. Like he did that last season against Bournemouth where he made them all jump and he floored it and it went straight into the goal. That's what he did in this reverse fixture last season.
Yeah. You probably will see Morris play. He's bound to play now. He has barely played. But then again, Pep is Pep, and I don't know Pep. He only Pep knows Pep.
I'm thinking about is there a possibility Aguero doesn't play? He was really like low on energy in the end of last game.
Yeah, but he subbed him off a little bit early though, didn't
he? Yeah.
And he said we desperately need Jesus back, so that kind of is a sign of him still trying to play Aguero, but yeah. Because he said Aguero was tired the last 10-15 minutes. We desperately need Jesus back, but yeah.
Mm.
And also it's an away game, so Aguero is never that exciting away either.
No.
So I see like counter arguments to my main transfer line here, which is Auba to Aguero.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem optimal really for me.
I'm just gonna keep Aguero and
hope
for the best.
I think if you've got Aguero, keep him, but maybe don't transfer him in this week, particularly as they have the blank in 31 coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So assets, we talked about King and Brooks, but maybe not for this game week.
Game week.
Manchester City assets, I think Sterling is the guy to have in this fixture. He's certainly going to play. I mean, we can't say that because it's Pep, but he did rest quite a big time, and he needs to rotate, and he needs to win the games still. So, and he likes to play Sterling. He's a key man for them recently.
He plays really well away from home as well.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't know if you guys have finished talking about these assets. I'm buzzing to get onto this next fixture because this next fixture, in my opinion, is game of the week, guys.
Yeah.
It's like Brighton 2.0 here. We
should be goals galore.
It's like the dullest match of the entire.
Yeah, I'm watching the form of these teams. Actually, Brighton has worse form than Huddersfield. That says quite a lot. Brighton has the worst form in the league, and Huddersfield has the next worst form. Brighton, as I said last week, my friend thinks that Brighton is going to get relegated, and in this in this like tempo and the form, I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen. They are dropping like a.
It could potentially be one of those games where Huddersfield come to the Amex Stadium and they say, "We're getting relegated, but we're taking you with us, and we're going to win this game to, because we're just to ensure that you don't get another 3 points."
Yeah, Huddersfield won last game too.
Yeah.
Brighton are winless in their last 7. I mean, it should be like a 1-0 game either way to one of the teams. Yeah, it's always tougher to come to Huddersfield as it was shown last game week. Brighton are still, we first half of the season they were quite good at home. But FPL assets wise, I mean, I think Monier in Brighton is interesting. He scored last game week, and I think he's such a beast. He just doesn't play for the right team. I think Pascal Gross, he picked up a hamstring injury that hurt.
They already said he's not.
Yeah,
probably not going to play in the weekend because he felt his hamstring.
Oh yeah, so Monier is a shout, but he plays for Huddersfield. Not the most exciting team, but he's a cool guy, I think. Glenn Murray in Brighton maybe, but there are more interesting picks.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
But Murray is one. He's gonna perform when you at least expect it, basically.
Exactly.
But I think we can move on to the next fixture. Burnley, Crystal Palace. So Burnley are pretty good at home, and we've talked about Crystal Palace being pretty good away.
Yeah.
So
difficult fixture to analyze.
Very. Yeah.
This again will be interesting to look at because I don't know. Just look at Batshuayi and the Batshuayi Zaha thing again because they had some decent chances against United, but it's United. So
is Wan-Bissaka back soon?
Wan-Bissaka is
still unknown return.
Potential return. This game week I think.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But that's because they haven't had a presser, so we haven't had an update yet.
Okay. So we don't know yet. But he's one to monitor, I think. No, not sure about the fixtures. Can you look them up quick?
Fixtures.
Yeah.
Are they nice?
They're playing Brighton at home next game week. Then they've got a blank in 31, and then they're playing Huddersfield at home, and then they're playing Newcastle away, and then they're playing City at home. So see if they can do the double on City this season. That's game week 34.
Still, I like their fixtures.
So do I.
Yeah, but they have a blank. That's like.
Yeah, I really like what you said, Yogi, about monitoring the Zaha Batshuayi situation and seeing whether Batshuayi is providing that service and that presence on the field that Zaha has needed to unlock himself, as we all know him to be a fantastic player that if he's at his peak and plays for his peak the whole season, wouldn't be playing for Crystal Palace the next season. So bearing that in mind, I feel like this game coming up where they're playing Burnley away from home is a good eye test game to then think about it, to not transfer in game week 30 because they have a blank, but then look about transferring one of them in for game week 32, where although they are at home and they do perform better away, they're at home to Huddersfield after being rested as well. So after not having a game in 31, although I think obviously they're in the cup, aren't they? Still, if they have a blank, right?
Yeah.
So Mitch, 2 assets if you had to choose.
2 assets for me. I'm still sticking with McNeil. He's been my little, even though I haven't had him in my team, he's been the pick for me, one of the picks this season. So McNeil for Burnley, and also Barnes for Burnley as well would be my 2 picks for this game.
Yogi?
I guess Tom Heaton is in the consideration set there. Zaha, if he performs, I think that's like my 2 shouts. Maybe Andres Townsend. He's been pretty aggressive lately.
Yeah,
I would say Milivojevic. He just proves that he can nick goals, and he's like this ticking FPL machine. He gets a goal every now and then.
Every time Zaha gets a penalty, Milivojevic gets your goal. That's pretty much what he does.
Yeah.
And the other pick, I would say Chris Wood. I love Ashley Barnes, but I think Chris Wood has been such a beast. He was taking a good shot the last game week. I mean, he's doing stuff on his own. It's really good. So
Betraying Barnes.
since they are playing at home, I like them both actually.
Yeah.
It's hard to decide, but I think that Chris Wood is worth that extra 0.5 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And next fixture, Manchester United Southampton. So I'm not entirely updated on the Manchester United injury situation, but obviously this is a great fixture for Man United. They proved that they could win a game last game week without their best squad on the pitch.
Yeah, that's a positive. Looks like the entire squad just looks more motivated now. They look happy. They look creative. They're back to being the United people like.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I heard that Dalot was playing up top almost, or on the wing at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be.
That's interesting. That's a real crisis. Rashford might be back, so that's great.
No.
So it's going to be tricky how he lines this up. We were dissing Lukaku a little bit, but I also think he might play up top now since they don't have great options. He might play Rashford on the wing. If he plays Dalot on the wing, I mean, Lukaku obviously doesn't cut it for the wing. He doesn't have the technique for it, but he can play up top. So I can see Rashford being forced to play on the wing, which isn't great for owners, but still it's a great fixture, so
yeah,
it should be okay.
Yeah.
My obvious pick would be Pogba, but he's a bit boring to say. But one player that I want to highlight that I mentioned quite a few weeks ago in one of our videos was Lindelof. He's solidified himself as centre back. He comes up with a goal. He loves to move forward. He got a goal. Was it a goal or an assist?
Assist. Yeah.
He got an assist last game week, and he had a goal a few game weeks before that as well. His price has shot up from 4.8 when I highlighted him to back to 5 mil where he started at the beginning of the season, and he's very close to 5.1. And for my other player as well, this isn't maybe the best fixture for him at all, but I really like match of the day, and I see Southampton play, and I see Ward-Prowse on the pitch. He's actually outperforming Redmond at the moment for a better price. So if as an option for the future, Ward-Prowse is definitely someone to look at for a budget midfielder.
Yeah.
Cool. So I think we covered the assets. Basically, Pogba and Ward-Prowse.
Or maybe Austin, maybe.
Austin as well.
Looks happy again.
Okay. Just think there's too much rotation risk with him.
Yeah.
But I love him.
He only played like 60 minutes, so.
Yeah, that's the other thing. If he plays, how much is he gonna play, right?
Yeah.
So next fixture, Wolves Cardiff. Obviously, Wolves assets are popular already, and their fixtures aren't great. So it's just a question of, do you stick with them this game week? Of course you do, but their fixtures coming up aren't that great. But obviously, this is a good game for Wolves on paper. At the same time, they seem to not perform the best against this kinds of teams. They seem to underperform every time against these poor teams.
They're previous season Liverpool. So they're good against top 6 teams, then they stumble about when they play the easy teams.
And unlike West Ham this season as well, although we did beat Fulham, but Fulham are a shambles at the moment. But I remember I said a few weeks ago when people were talking about Jota and Jimenez as well, and although Jimenez has been fantastic for both of you guys, I didn't put him in because I did notice this pattern where they play really well, and then they'll have 2 or 3 games where they just draw 1-1 or 0-0, or they'll even lose. Like they lost it's pretty embarrassing to lose away to Huddersfield, the only other team that that lost there was West Ham, which kind of actually accurately fits the bill for what we're talking about, right? I mean, we're talking about a team that comes up with the goods against the big teams and then flounders against the crap ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to anyway. We don't think we think they might like stumble a little bit or fumble, but it is Cardiff.
Yeah.
And they are at home, and they aren't always terrible against bad teams.
But mostly.
But I think Doherty is the dream FPL player,
Yeah, he's amazing.
and I think this will be a good game week for him. Probably to do something offensively and not defensively.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago he did both.
Yeah, exactly.
But I almost count on something from him.
Yeah.
Not so much Jimenez and the other guys, but I think this is a good fixture for the defenders. Johnny is obviously a great value this game, but as I said, the fixtures aren't great after this one.
And they're blanking.
Yeah, so assets, just no one to get in basically.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Stick with what you've got.
But if anyone, Jimenez and Doherty.
Yeah, Jimenez and Doherty should do.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Next game is West Ham Newcastle. Very interesting. I have Rondon and Felipe Anderson really unsure about who to play because it looks like a good game for both.
Yeah.
It looks like I like Newcastle's defense more, but West Ham is playing at home. But I think I don't know. I really don't know. It's a tough fixture. I think a lot of people are in my situation too, that they own like Felipe and Rondon, and some guys own Almiron, some guys own Arnautovic, but these are the usual suspects with these teams, I guess. What do you have for us, Mitch, about West Ham this game week?
Arnie didn't play against City, but I think that's because of the injury. That was because he just had a cold. He had like a pretty bad cold. All the reports are saying that he should be okay. And he looked great against Fulham when he came on for the last 15 minutes. Yeah, so bearing that in mind, and we're playing at home, I would like to see us nick the win. I have Shah in my team. He won't be making the cut because I do think that it's going to be goals. I wouldn't put any promise in either team's defence. I feel like it's going to be one of those games where both teams are going to score.
Yeah.
Sam can't seem to keep a clean sheet as much as Newcastle can't seem to keep a clean sheet away from home. Assets, I'm still sticking to my guns, and I think Felipe Anderson is going to bring in the goods because it's time. And he looked really, really good against Fulham, but he was just almost like, obviously, a much lower class Kevin De Bruyne version of like the West Ham's Kevin De Bruyne. He was the man before the play, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I have like a good team on paper. I really don't want to bench either Felipe Anderson or Rondon because as you said, I think there's going to be goals in this game. But yeah. I have so great options. I mean, I'm almost inclined to bench Son or something. Play these guys because as you said, I think there's going to be goals. West Ham are good at home.
Yeah, we are good at home. We managed to bring in the goods even if we don't give like we said about Fulham. We managed to bring in the goods even if we don't give the best performance. Like we should have really not conceded against Fulham. But yeah, even for a West Ham fan, it's a tough game to read because Newcastle have been playing very well recently. Because Benitez is turning around to them and saying, like if you guys don't buck up your ideas, we're going to go down.
Yep. So it could go either way, but I think we agree that the defense of West Ham isn't good enough, but they are good at home. So that's why it's going to be goals.
Yeah,
and that's why FPL assets should be focused on attacking. That's my read, at least.
Yeah.
And we talked about the assets. I think Arnautovic is a good one to get in this game week.
Yeah.
It's actually I should consider that because I have Aubameyang. So that might be a cool transfer that I don't think everyone is going to make, but I think that's a good move for me. I already have Rondon, as I said, and I like what I see from Almiron. He's an exciting player to watch for your FPL team. He's creating stuff, so yeah, he's active, he's lively. It's a fun player to watch.
Just a little point as well. I think the highest percentage ownage of any offensive player in both these teams is Felipe Anderson at about 15.5%. I don't think Is Rondon quite, someone quickly check? I don't think Rondon's quite at 15%. So a lot of these offensive assets are going to be differentials for overall ranking and mini league as well. And I do think it's going to be a game of goals. Like Arnautovic at the beginning of the season had a 22% ownership rating, and he's now sitting at 6.9%. So it is a good fixture to get him in.
Rondon's at 8.3.
Yeah, Rondon's at 8.3. So I think Felipe Anderson at 15.5% is the highest ownership, which really on the scale of FPL isn't that high.
Yeah, I'm just worried about his game time, basically.
Yeah.
And Lanzini is slowly like building some fitness too. Don't know how the team is gonna line up. That's what I'm worried about. But I want to look at the possibility of Arnautovic at least.
Pele roulette, boys.
That's it. Chicharito, and the funny thing, Chicharito performs. That's a funny thing.
Yeah.
Somehow. Yeah, and when he plays Nasri looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously Yarmolenko's out for the whole season, so we don't have to worry about him. But Antonio's looking really good as well.
Yeah,
I would like to see more returns from Anderson though in this latter half of the season.
Yeah, Antonio is looking almost like their best player.
Yeah,
should have gotten him in instead of Anderson, I think. But anyway, think we covered that one. Good. Watford, Leicester. Watford's been quite good. I mean, they faced Liverpool away. They were never gonna get anything out of that fixture, but otherwise, I think they've been in pretty good form. They won. They proved that they can win big. They like to score goals usually when they're not facing Liverpool away. So the thing is, they have tricky fixtures, right?
Yeah, Watford have really tricky fixtures.
Yeah. And Leicester have good fixtures. So for this game and going forward, it's obviously Leicester assets to look upon. We discussed Maddison not cutting it for us, and Vardy is interesting.
Yeah.
So also Harvey Barnes should be mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
But Rodgers coming in doesn't bode well for their defense, in my opinion.
No, not at all.
No, okay. So it's still Vardy and Barnes.
Yeah, I've got Pereira at the moment, and I'm a bit nervous about having him now because I feel like Rodgers is going to get them to score more goals. And Pereira can be played offensively, but he's not really the best defender.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a bit worried about having him at the moment, considering the manager change.
Yeah.
Good. So next fixture, Fulham Chelsea. It's quite hard to evaluate Chelsea, but Fulham sacked Ranieri, I read.
Yeah. They sacked him, and now they have appointed Scott Parker.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Scott Parker.
He was assisted already.
He's the caretaker.
Yeah.
This team in a hot mess.
One hell of a hot mess. I mean, they spent what, the third or fourth highest amount in the transfer window in the relegation zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can talk trash about Fulham forever. I think for FPL, I still really like Babel. He hit the post last game. He's always involved. He has this funny way of standing in the right place, and sometimes it goes well. Sometimes he misses a big opportunity, but I think he hit the post last game. Had 4 shots. He always shoots a lot. That's what I like about him. So and they are playing at home. I have David Luiz. I'm quite hesitant to play Luiz. Do you think they were gonna keep the clean sheet, Yogi?
Yes, Fulham.
Yep.
They've held Tottenham back. They've held City back now. So I think they have a little defensive bounce now. They're gaining a little bit of confidence because as far as I heard, Sarri has said that we need to play lower. So he's basically moving the team further back. Might not be against Fulham, but maybe he wants to sustain that kind of defensive stability because defense has been a little bit of a problem.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds sound. I think he realized that maybe too late, but
Yeah.
was a good realization anyway. And I think even when Alonso doesn't look poor defensively, that says something about the team as a whole.
Yeah. He all of a sudden turned up against Tottenham.
Yeah. Exactly.
I didn't know what happened. He
Okay,
started to run again.
Okay, so
is everything all right with Sarri and Kepa now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
It was before, but it was pretty much just putting out a statement.
Yeah.
This is what happens. It's a huge thing done from him. It's like, okay, you screwed me over. This is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that was the easiest way to handle that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
pretty much.
Yeah, bench him for one game.
But they fined him, and Marina has basically told Kepa to apologize directly to Sarri and the entire squad. So yeah. He has gone through it, and he's probably learned from it, and yeah.
He's young as well. I mean, Kepa,
Yeah,
he's a great keeper, and he's got a lot to learn. He's young. He's what? He's only 22, 23?
No, he's older, actually.
Is he a little bit older than that?
Yeah, I get surprised. But yeah. He's actually 24.
Oh, he's 24. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, but let's go for two assets then. Mitch, which two would you like to own?
I would like to own Hazard and Higuain for this fixture because I haven't seen just a quick analysis on that. I haven't seen Chelsea thump a team in ages now, and considering their defense, well, unless I've missed something, but
Huddersfield, right?
Yeah, that was last time.
Oh, that was the last time. When was that? That was more than 25. Okay, so that was 4 game weeks ago, I suppose, against Huddersfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see them. They thumped Huddersfield. I'd like to see them thump Fulham as well. So for me, Hazard, Higuain.
What about you, Yogi?
I think I'm saying pretty much the same as Mitch. Maybe David Luiz. Maybe.
Cool.
Could be interesting.
Feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he will play with less press on him, and that gives him more time to do the good crosses that would just land in someone's feet. So, yeah.
Preferably Hazard's.
Yeah, exactly.
So Hazard has to get a return, right?
Yeah.
It's impossible for him to blank. I think I'm getting in.
Just like it was impossible for Salah to blank in a 5-0 win, right?
Yeah, that's quite. If you said it's gonna be 5-0, do you want to have Salah in?
Yeah.
I said okay, I'll take it.
I'll take him. Triple captain.
Yeah, maybe. I saw someone triple captain him. I didn't like that choice. As Yogi mentioned, it might even have been the best choice to ditch him that game week, even though it was a brave choice. And obviously, you need some luck for him to blank that game week. But it was a reasonable decision and transfer. And that was last game week. We should look at this game week. But I just say, Hazard and Luis. I'll go with that, and I think that they might end up in my team.
Yeah.
So that feels nice. I have a good feeling about Chelsea actually against Fulham. I have a good feeling against every team against Fulham. I have a good.
And it has proven itself that.
You've got the evidence there. Don't worry, we're both behind you with that one as well.
Yeah. If that goes to hell, then I did have some nice stats to back that decision, I think. So basically, we don't. In conclusion, we don't think that Fulham are going to bounce back because of Scott Parker. If they couldn't defend with Ranieri, right?
That's 2 managers this season now.
Yeah. Ranieri has only stayed there for 4 months. 4
I
months.
feel so bad. He won the Premier League 3 seasons ago.
Yeah. And now he's running around by himself. Diddle-ding, diddle-dong.
I love that guy.
The Tinkerman.
Yeah.
Okay, so also one last thing. Chelsea gets one more rest than a couple of other teams, so that's why Hazard and such are even more interesting, I think.
And they're one of the 2 big teams playing in 31, aren't they? Chelsea and Liverpool both playing a game week 31.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a Hazard or Higuain or Pedro, something like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of players have ditched Hazard. I suspect that, so might be nice to be first with him again. If he suddenly
typical point, he wakes up again.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does it. He does it like 2-3 times a season, doesn't he? He just explodes.
He's like, usually I say form over fixtures, but with Hazard you say fixture creates form. All of a sudden he just gets back again.
Yeah, cool. Okay, last game of the game week. Everton Liverpool. So their worst fixture was an interesting game, but Everton held them back, and they were away. So that game should really have ended 0-0. But Everton is in a different state of form right now, and I think it was good going into the derby. Not so many question marks anymore. So Mane played up top. I think we have to monitor Firmino. I've been bad at looking at injury updates. If Firmino is still out, then Mane is looking like the best option for this game, along with the defenders, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. To quote Klopp on February 26th, he said, "He looks good. It is not as serious as we thought. We play tomorrow, and it will be very close for that, but there's a big chance for Sunday."
That's what he said with Alexander-Arnold, and he missed 4 game weeks.
Yeah.
So I can't.
It's also the man that blames wind, snow, grass, rain, light, hard beds,
the half moon,
water, something.
Someone not putting enough.
The dust was too dusty.
Well.
Too many stars in the sky.
I almost don't want him to win. I love Klopp otherwise, but this season he has been a little bitch.
He has won our hearts with his hugs.
He's won our hearts with his hugs, definitely.
Yeah, he's delivered so many hugs.
The hug count, we should have that in the end of the season review.
You should do a quick 1 minute subside compilation of him just going like.
And the hugger of the year goes to Jurgen Klopp.
What else is there to say? I mean, Everton looks poor offensively.
They had a good game last game week.
Poor.
They did? Against who?
Against Cardiff. It's not saying much, is it really? But I think one thing that I love about this fixture is that the Merseyside derby at Everton is always more explosive and more deadly in terms of cards and injuries. So injuries, something to be careful of as well. At Everton, it is just an absolute fuck fiesta. The Everton fans are so up for it, so that will charge them. That both teams are coming in with a nice win, albeit Everton was against Cardiff. But my eyes are actually going to be on Salah this game because I'm getting to that point again where I'm going to take him out, and then I'm going to take him out, and then he's going to score a hat-trick again. But
I'm not looking back at him yet. I think we're back at the early season thing where he underperformed and Mane did perform. Yeah. People bring out this and that and stats and stuff, and you can read as much stats as you want, but in the end, he doesn't score open play goals. He looks poor. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Many say, "Oh, he had so many in the woodwork, so many there, so many there." But if you're gonna sit there and shovel yourself down in all these stats, I'm gonna enjoy the Mane points in the meantime.
I completely agree. And at the same point, it's like, when people bring in stats like, "Oh, he hit the woodwork," well, the most simple response, in my opinion, is just turning around and saying, "Well, he didn't score, did he?"
No.
He's arguably the best forward in the Premier League, and he didn't score. He hit the woodwork.
Yeah.
Andy Carroll hits the woodwork. Does that make him a better finisher than Arnautovic or Chicharito? No, it doesn't. So why do you keep saying that? I completely agree with you. All three of us.
It's just a bunch of stats to defend your stubbornness.
Yeah, completely.
That's what I call it. Because I'm fed up with him. I got fed up with him, and I transferred him up and had a mild panic attack on Saturday or something, and now he's gone. So yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like it cost me too much to bring him back if he all of a sudden wakes up again. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Cool. So lastly, 2 assets to own. Yogi.
Monet and Robertson. I would say.
I actually have to agree with that. I would like to say Trent Alexander-Arnold, but Robertson's been my boy since game week 1. So again, I think Monet and Robertson.
Okay. I'll just say 2 defenders because I think they're gonna keep a clean sheet. So
yeah.
And I like Alexander-Arnold's. Yeah, I like Van Dijk for this game, but no, Alexander-Arnold better value as I mentioned. So for me, if money isn't a concern, Van Dijk and Robertson. Otherwise, Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. So that was this game week. Awesome game week, I think. I have a nice feeling. It's probably going to be like the last game week with a lot of goals everywhere, a lot of high scores, I think.
A lot of high scores this game week, I think.
Yeah. So lastly, captaincy. Who are you going for, Yogi?
It's between Hazard and Aguero. Okay. I'm going to bring in Hazard. That's no secret. It's actually interested to just do it on Hazard because it's Fulham. They sacked their coach. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think he just edged it now.
Yeah. I think for me, it's between, again, like Yogi, Hazard or Pogba. I think for me this week.
Okay. Yeah. I think I'll go Pogba. I can't see him blank this game home against Southampton. I like to own Hazard, but I can't give him the captaincy anymore after what he's done to me. So
I'm on the chase now. Now I'm going into
now as well. Sane's in the bin for us for the rest of our FPL career. Doesn't matter whether he's
dead to me
next season. He's getting the thing from me.
I'll never touch Sane again. He's on the list together with Dina and Walcott. They're all sitting there just
on the blacklist,
crying. They're never going to get back ever. Hazard can come back because he has rewarded me so many times, and this might be the time to just let's go again.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, guys. A great talk, and good luck with your game weeks.
Good luck, guys. Take care.
Take care. Bye.